importing data. So the way you import data, there are two different ways to do it. Okay, so this one, say your data file is inside of your working directory. In this case, my data file that I'm going to import is in my working directory. So I'll show you two ways to do it. So to import that file, if your file is inside your working directory, you do not have to specify a file path. So you have the name of your file in quotes. Keep in mind you have to put .csv or .txt if it's a text file. You have to specify that. It's not going to automatically know that it's a CSV file. It's the same if you export data. You have to put the file extension here. That is something that I see a lot with students who make errors in this. So the function is read.csv. Okay. One of your questions might be, how do I use a XLSX file in R? I recommend using a CSV and converting your data to a CSV if at all possible, but sometimes data sets are big and you don't want to open them on your computer and save it as a different file extension. I recommend in that case using something called, and I'm just gonna open a note here and file new note. The package that it would do, and if you want to write this down, is XLSX package. So that is the package where you import XLSX documents. If you've been an R user in the past, XLSX is finicky and I could never get it to work because of just weird issues with it. That seems to be fixed, so it's a lot easier to do now. So you can use that as well. I recommend, if you can, either using a text file or a .csv file. So this would be the case where I did not, when I had my data inside my working directory, so I didn't specify a file path. You're going to see here, opioid read.csv. This data set is real, and you'll see it in my code. I am going to show two examples. So here, and I'll explain strings as factors equals false in a second. So I'm going to copy that and show you, and that did not work. So copy. I'm going to paste above it. I'm going to take out my file path now to show you how this is equivalent. So say my state prescribed overdose data. So I'm going to go to this folder. You're going to see that it is here. This is my working directory and it's located here. If I run it, it's going to import my data. You see 612 observations, 7 variables. Say I'm going to just clear this, and that gets rid of all your objects. Now I'm going to set working directory, and I'm going to run the one with the file path instead. Works just the same way. So you can specify the file path if you want. You don't have to if you don't want. The same conventions with these slashes that refer to this set working directory refer down here as well. So on a Mac, you're going to need your tilde and then your forward slashes. On PC, you can use a double backslash or a forward slash. If you have trouble with the forward, use the double backslash. So you'll see that those work in the exact same way. Also, one other thing. So say you want to open a certain code in your computer. You'll click this open button, and then you can navigate to it in your computer and open it. I will actually show an example. So there are practice exercises on the OneDrive folder. So if I open that, now the code is up here. So if you want extra practice, this is what you'll do, and it matches very closely to this code, so you can use it as a model. So this code here has in its comments exactly what you're supposed to do. You'll see set your working directory. You have to do that. You use the read.csv command to upload data, and it shows up here what the data file is into the into R with prescribe.df as your variable name. So you see that in the comments, it tells you exactly what to do for the practice exercises. So that is how you set import files into R. Are there any questions about that? One other thing, you'll see that I'm setting strings as factors equals false. I recommend doing this almost 100% of the time. So I'm going to show you why. So there's something called a factor variable. Tune in next week if you want more information about what a factor variable is. Is there a question?
I do. So when importing a file, that file has to be somewhere in the computer, right?
Yes, it has to be somewhere placed on your computer. If you don't want to specify the file path, put it in your working directory. So you'll see that this corresponds to a folder in my computer. So if I look in documents, if I go down to website, the folder website, which is listed here into class 1, this is specifying this folder. You'll see the same thing down here. If I look at documents, website, in class 1, you'll see that state prescribed overdose data is in that folder. So this has to specify where the data lives on your own computer. Does that answer your question?
I'm not sure if I asked it clearly. The file I am importing to the R directory, that file has to be in my computer somewhere already, right? Where do I import? Okay.
Yeah, that's what yes.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay, yeah, and then you have to use this format to do it as well. One thing to note, R is case sensitive. So you have to, if there's a lowercase, you have to use a lowercase. So say I set this opioid data frame. If I change this to a capital O and I try to run this code, it's going to say that opioid.dataframe does not exist. So you cannot run, you have to, if it's a lowercase, you have to keep it as a lowercase. If it's an uppercase, and your variable has a lowercase, it's going to throw an error. So that's something that doesn't exist in every language, and you have to be mindful of. Okay, so strings as factors equals false. So if I go back in here, you're going to see that I have this set here. I'm going to show you, if I look in here, strings as factors equals false means all of these variables are strings or character variables. You can learn more about that next week.